Hi everyone. My name is Jonathan Venditti and I am the Global Market Manager for Chemical Industry at Kluber Lubrication Munich. The title of my presentation today goes like this: Fact or friction? Find out how the right lubricant can lead to energy saving in your facility. Just a small introduction about Kluber Lubrication. Kluber is part of the Freudenberg group. Freudenberg is mainly divided in 4 different business entities. The first business entities and the core business would be the seals and vibration control technology. The second business area would be the nonwoven and filtration business. The third entity would be the household products, and the fourth one would be Freudenberg Chemical Specialties, which include under its umbrella Kluber Lubrication and all its sister company like OKS, Chemtran, SureTech, and Capol. Being part of the Freudenberg group, we at Kluber have goals and ambition. We want to improve ourselves and support your targets. Our target is to minimize our footprint and to maximize our handprint at our customer, to reduce our impact on the environment. At Kluber Lubrication, we establish our own sustainability matrix in order to being able to measure our progress. That's why we work also in many aspects of our daily operation. In order to minimize our footprint on the environment, we carefully select our raw material. We also try to do local sourcing and local production to make sure the product is closer from our customer and the end user site. In order to improve our handprint, we try to reduce energy and consumption and emission in all our manufacturing plant. We also try to improve our biodegradable product portfolio by coming up with innovative products that respect environment regulation. We also try to make sure that disposal and recycling are well respected and are efficient at every of our site. But where we truly believe that we have the biggest impact on energy consumption and environment is when we collaborate with our customer in order to improve the efficiency in their process. Now let's talk about lubrication and efficiency and take the example of automotive industry. As proven by the automotive industry, it's nowadays possible to achieve incredible efficiency by using smaller turbocharged engine without even doing sacrifice on the performance. Today's cars are much more reliable and much more powerful than the car from the past. Most of the cars today use really low viscosity engine oil. They leave the factory mostly with fully synthetic 0W20 or 5W20, which are really light oil, in order to maximize their performance and their efficiency, and also in order to respect the environment and government restriction and legislation. But in an era where mineral oil became obsolete for automotive industry, what about industrial application? Can the lubricant influence the efficiency and performance of a specific type of machinery? The answer is yes. A lot of mineral oil lubricated applications offer a really high potential for efficiency improvement. By using KlüberEnergy program combined with Kluber specialty lubricant, you can achieve your target by increasing your efficiency and reducing your CO2 emissions. KlüberEnergy with Kluber specialty lubricant will reduce your total cost ownership, will bring you energy saving, will reduce your CO2 footprint, and will increase the reliability of your production equipment. Since the chemical industry accounts for around 20% of the global industrial greenhouse gas emissions and represent a little over 30% of the total industrial energy demand worldwide, we Kluber Lubrication thought it was the perfect industrial sector to prove that specialty and synthetic lubricant can improve efficiency of chemical process. That chemical industry was the perfect candidate for our KlüberEnergy program. The chemical and petrochemical industry is the largest consumer of energy among all other industrial sectors and is one of the top greenhouse gas emission intensive industries as well. Globally, an estimate of 100 terajoules are spent annually to overcome friction. So it is fair to say that friction is the worst enemy of efficiency. That's why it is in the best interest of chemical societies to investigate and improve lubrication at every of their manufacturing site. The chemical industry can now benefit of the KlüberEnergy program. With KlüberEnergy, the chemical societies are now able to evaluate and quantify the efficiency gain and energy saving related to lubrication improvement at their manufacturing site. KlüberEnergy program consists in 4 different steps. The first step is consulting, where we carefully investigate the application and select the right product for the machinery in order to make sure that we maximize energy saving without bringing the reliability down. Measurement, where we cautiously and professionally take the measurement to make sure that we don't have to do a retrial. We also do energy analysis, where we consider all variation or fluctuation from the process that could have an impact on the energy consumption. And then we do reporting, a full report not only including energy saving, but also quantifying the CO2 and emission reduction, and also calculate the return on investment of each project involving KlüberEnergy. When we start a collaboration project on energy saving and energy efficiency at our customer, it's really important to compare apples to apples. That is why it's really important to carefully analyze the situation before, during, and after the switchover to a Kluber specialty lubricant. So before converting the equipment to a Kluber synthetic and specialty oil, we must first establish the baseline and drawing a big picture of the actual situation and actual energy consumption with the actual mineral base oil currently in use in the machinery, in the equipment. Then there's the retrofit period. Upon conversion of the equipment, it's really important for Kluber to carefully monitor any parameter from the process, like operating temp, input and output power, and amperage on electric motor, to make sure that we evaluate right away the influence of the switchover to the synthetic and specialty Kluber oil. Then the post-retrofit period is really important to monitor data according to IPMVP, which is the International Performance Measurement and Verification Protocol, and ISO 50001, to make sure that we gather all data, and data is really reliable, so that we can identify any abnormal data or peaks of energy consumption because of fluctuation that could happen in the process. So we will evaluate a certain period that makes sense to continue monitoring all the data in order to report true and transparent results to our customer. When one of our customers asks for our help in order to initiate an energy-saving project, we must first find the ideal application that is a good candidate for energy saving. It is extremely important to sit together and determine all relevant variable and parameter that could influence energy consumption in the application, in the process involved. We then try to identify the best measurement points in the application. The success of an energy efficiency project depends on 2 things: the identification and the measurement of all influencing variables. Take, for example, the assembly and equipment shown in this picture. We would take measurement on the input power going into the electric motor that drives the gearbox in the process. And then, at the end of the process, we would monitor all the following parameters: the production rate, tons per hour, for example, the speed of the process, the loads, the material, the size and hardness of the particle, the temperatures, ambient temperature, the component temperature, the oil temperature, and also the oil level. Here are some examples from the field. So the first business case I would like to talk to you about is an energy efficiency project that was started with one of our Austrian customer. It was a chemical plant, and the application involved a hair compressor. So here are the application details. It was a oil lubricated screw compressor with a nominal power of 75 kilowatt. The oil sump and the oil volume was 30 liter only. The goal was to increase the overall efficiency with a focus on energy saving by switching from a mineral oil from a major oil company to a fully synthetic Klubersynth SH46 oil, which is based on PAO, which is polyalpha olefin chemistry, or SHC, like synthetic hydrocarbon, like we call in the lubricant business. The result was a 3.4 energy saving and an extension of the service interval that double. That means less waste in the oil and also more equipment availability in service hours. The total reduction was a big 46 megawatt hour of energy, and also we reduced the CO2 emission yearly by almost 12,000 kilogram of CO2. That translates in over 6,200 euro of total saving yearly. The payback time in this case was only 2 months. So that is really a good return on investment for only a 30 liter oil sump oil and an equipment that works almost 90% of the time. Another really interesting business case is this one, where we start an energy efficiency program or project with one of our South Korean customer. This application was into a petrochemical plant and was involving cooling tower system. We were more focused on the gearbox component, and here are the application details. The cooling tower system at this facility was involving 11 different cooling cells. Each gearbox on every cell was containing around 35 to 40 liter of oil. All gearboxes were in operation with using mineral oil ISO grade, viscosity grade 320, and a type of extreme pressure gear oil. Installed power was approximately 56 kilowatt per gearbox. The goal was the reduction of the total energy consumption and cost using Klubersynth GH6 320, which is a specialty lubricant based on PAG chemistry, well known as well as polyalkyl glycol, or PAGs. Another goal was to improve reliability and wear protection, and that was also proven by the Kluber Monitor Oil program, which is we can offer free oil monitoring combined to energy efficiency system to make sure that the oil bring efficiency, but also will never jeopardize the reliability of the equipment. The result in that case was a 4.9 reduced energy consumption. The drain interval were extended from a single year to 4 years. So less oil consumption, less waste, and more equipment availability again. The total reduction was around just a little over 26,000 kilowatt hour, and the reduction of CO2 emission represent around 109 tons of CO2 emission yearly. The total cost saving per year was evaluated around $40,000. The payback time was in this situation only 3 months. This third business case consists on significant saving that happened in a specialty gas plant in Thailand. The application in this gas plant was involving 2 large turbo compressor. The brand was Cameron and the model was a ASD 6000. The total rate power was just a little bit over 1100 kilowatt, and the speed was around 2,978 RPM. The sump size for the lubricant volume was quite large, with every compressor containing just a little bit over 300 liter. The goal was increasing efficiency and reduce energy consumption by using the Klubersynth PS150. The result was an extended drain interval from 2 years to every 3 years. The total reduction of 46 megawatt hour and a reduction of CO2 emission of 16.6 tons per year. In local currency, that was representing over 650,000 THB saving per year on each compressor. The return on investment was only 2 months period. Business case number 4. That one involved a really large tire manufacturer that could generate economies, energy saving, and improve efficiency by using our Klubersynth GEM 4 fully synthetic gear oil. Even if that one specific tire manufacturer involving one specific manufacturing site, that case was also replicated around the world with other tire manufacturers with quite similar result. So the application detail is that there's a lot of gearbox in a tire manufacturing plant. This one was involving over 22 three-stage large size gearbox, mostly provided by 2 different OEM, which were Vikov and then Siemens Flander. The oil volume in the gearbox could variate between 600 liter to 1,300 liter per gearbox. Most of the gearbox were mounted or were driving Banbury mixers or rubber extruders. They were mostly driven and connected to large size electric motor. Sometimes the input power was around 2.5 megawatt motors. Service is also extreme, without almost no break every year. So they are in operation 24 hours, 7 days a week, and they roughly work, don't work or in shutdown 5 days per year, totalizing 360 days of production and operation per year. That specific case brought almost 3% reduction of energy consumption, translating in saving of over 320,000 euro per year. Also, the extended drain interval possible by using our Klubersynth fully synthetic Klubersynth GEM 4 was pushed from 2 years to every 4 years. That represent 10,000 liter less of waste oil per year used by the customer. So another source of economy. Business case number 5. This one is not specifically oriented to a customer or a situation or a specific application from the field, but mostly talk about a general topic about cleanliness of equipment and impact of a cleaner equipment on efficiency. So nowadays, the technology of the equipment and machinery is evolving quite fast. There's a tendency of the equipment getting smaller and smaller, but at the same time, they offer more performance and more output. That means that most of the new equipment and modern equipment used by chemical societies are running faster, at a warmer temperature, and also have less oil in their oil sump. The oil is now exposed to extreme and continuous service and also extreme temperature. And if mineral is used in such an application like modern compressor, it could break down quite rapidly and degrade by generating varnish, sludge, or carbon buildup in these equipment. It's really important to keep your equipment clean. That will really influence the global efficiency of the equipment. Kluber has a special product called Kluber Varnasolve. We also have a Kluber Varnasolve HV for high viscosity version for gearbox application. But the regular Kluber Varnasolve is a cleaning and flushing agent, mostly used for a compressor, for hydraulic system, and heat transfer oil system. It's normally you drain 10 to 15% of the content of the used oil actually running in the equipment, and you replace by Varnasolve. You run the equipment like normal, no need for disassembly, and then you run the equipment for a period between 2 or 5 days. And then you flush, and then the equipment should be clean and then ready to be filled up with new lubricant. So, experiment by Kluber Lubrication shows that on a compressor that was running with mineral oil and was also full of varnish and sludge, we showed and we proved that after cleaning with Varnasolve and adding after upon fill up a synthetic Klubersynth compressor oil like our SB or SH or DSL or Ultima series, the energy saving can reach between 3 and 5% of energy saving by cleaning the equipment before with Kluber Varnasolve and then switch over to a synthetic oil. Same thing with heat transfer oil system. Most of the time, chemical company and also pulp and paper company, they will use really large heat transfer oil system. It could be for heat exchangers, for boiler, and also to heat trace the piping inside a chemical in this or petrochemical plant complex. So the Kluber Varnasolve most of the time will be really beneficial for the system, as the oil will break down thermally in the system, and the system could contain like over 300,000 liters of oil, and sometimes it's exposed to over 250 degrees Celsius. And these large systems, these chemical society don't want to change it every year, and most of the time will prolong the operation and the service life of these heat transfer oil for over 10 years. That means there's a lot of breakup and a lot of, I will say, small fraction like propane and butane accumulate in these oil, and also there's a lot of carbon buildup inside the piping that will be generated by degradation of the oil. So none that is only a safety issue, because with the small fraction, the light fraction that are thermally cut to the oil molecule, but then you have a problem of clogging the system and causing high pressure, and also you lose a lot of energy efficiency and heat transfer behavior by having these carbon buildup inside the pipe. So Varnasolve could be used in heat transfer oil system if the total temperature could be dropped to just a little bit under 200 degrees Celsius. Then the Varnasolve will still achieve really good cleaning effect in these large system and bring back the initial or close to the initial efficiency of the total system. That was just a couple examples from the field and a great project that we achieve with the collaboration of our customer. But globally, our contribution at Kluber for 2019 translate like this. We generate more than 193,000 of megawatt hour of energy saving. We also reduce CO2 emission by more than 28,000 tons. That translates of about 13,400 trees saved by our commitment and our action in the field and collaboration with customers. If you've been following this presentation and attending from the really first slide, you might have the following question for me. Why Kluber? Are all synthetic oil the same anyway? The answer is no, and you cannot expect to switch any mineral oil application to a synthetic one and expect the same result every time, depending on the lubricant brand. Because a lot of manufacturers of lubricant use semi-synthetic formulation or start their development by using really low cost and low viscosity base oil and compensate by adding polymer called PIBs where are known as polyisobutylene, which are viscosity index improver and viscosity improver. These polymers are quickly increasing the viscosity and viscosity index of a lubricant, but they negatively affect the coefficient of friction. They are also subject to rapid degradation called mechanical shearing and thermal shearing, and in the application will affect viscosity over time. Mostly the viscosity will drop in the application and will also generate varnish in the application when upon degradation. So this is a graph, and it's only a hypothetical scenario. It shows that Kluber, we try to avoid at any cost to put PIB or polyisobutene or viscosity improver in our product. We try to work with most of the time mixture of 2 fully synthetic oil and then add the additive to make sure that our product doesn't have those viscosity index that have really bad influence on the oil behavior over time. The middle one, you see that if a company will try to be more competitive on price and dilute their synthetic with mineral oil, then your oil becomes weaker as the weakest component. So the portion of the mineral oil will degrade much faster than the synthetic oil and will also affect the efficiency down over time. Using a really large, like for example, the hypothetical scenario competitor 2, using a large quantity of polyisobutylene, like PIB, will really have an effect on the efficiency, because most of the time it will affect the coefficient of friction and also will also degrade in the application. So we at Kluber Lubrication try to avoid to put polyisobutylene in our product. And that's why we maximize the efficiency of our product in a different application. Kluber specialty lubricants are designed to offer one of the best viscosity versus temperature behavior in the market. It also offers, in average, 3 times the service life compared to a conventional mineral oil. This graph explains that by using a Kluber synthetic oil that is not using any viscosity improver like PIB, the gap is right from the beginning around 2% between the performance of a Kluber synthetic oil versus a mineral oil. But as you can see, the normal service life of a Kluber product will be in average 3 times the service life of a mineral oil. So by the time you do 3 change, you only do 1 change with the Kluber synthetic oil. That also influences gain in productivity, since instead of shutting down the equipment for draining and refill with new mineral oil, you just continue production by using a Kluber specialty lubricant. So in some situation where we start efficiency project with some customer, some of our customer had prefer, instead of just taking the energy saving, to continue, and because we free some input power on their machinery, they just increase the power in order to produce more. So that's another example of gain in productivity using synthetic Kluber oil. The average gap and gain in productivity will be around 4% by using a synthetic and specialty oil from Kluber. In summary, KlüberEnergy provides several benefits for chemical industry. Here's a table that summarizes all the positive points you could benefit by working with us and implementing our tribological solution in your daily operation. Let us be your partner in order to achieve your goal and targets. And that concludes my presentation. Hope you guys did enjoy the content and the presentation. It was a pleasure for me to be part of this webinar. Please feel free to contact me directly to discuss any opportunity of efficiency project or any troubleshooting about lubrication issue you can have at your facility. I wish you a wonderful day. Please stay safe, stay healthy, and stay strong. Have a wonderful day. Ciao.